Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel where we love to talk about movies. Here today we're going to talk about Missing and ultimately why this is I think it's a great film for suspense and one that takes place in a world of technology, or it's a movie viewed through screens and technology. And yeah, one that I highly recommend. So we may get into, we're going to get a little bit into spoilers. I just want to be able to talk freely on it. So that's kind of my off the top. If you haven't seen it yet and you don't want anything spoiled, I went in completely blind. I loved that I went in completely blind. I had no expectations, and that was great. And we'll kind of get into the reasons why coming up, but yeah, those might kind of get into spoilers. But short recommendation is go see it. I think it's definitely worth the watch. It was great to see in theaters. And yeah, now diving in, just giving a brief synopsis. So this film, after her mother goes missing, a young woman tries to find her from home using tools available to her online. So I didn't even know who was going to go missing. I wasn't sure if it was the daughter or the mom. I think they start to set it up like it might be the daughter, and then I was like, oh, they make it seem like it's probably her, but then it's probably not going to be her. It's probably going to be the mom. And that's who it turned out to be. But I hadn't even read the synopsis, so I had fun kind of guessing who would be missing. But diving into it, I thought all the characters were very well done. I think the movie very much succeeds because of the main character of June, and I think the actress who played her did a phenomenal job and made me buy into this character as somebody whose mom has gone missing, and somebody who's tech savvy enough to actually dig into the problem on her own and not necessarily rely on the police. So it was interesting kind of seeing her go from like her relationship with her mom as well. I thought was well explored in the film. Yeah, her mom Grace. I thought that she's not a ton in the movie, but there again, I think her character worked and she was played well. I really liked that, like when it was brought up, they're like, oh, she's missing, but we see here that this might actually be like a fake identity. There isn't a whole lot known on this person. And so it kind of casts them down. And you're like, did she just run away? Did she have a troubled past? Did she get like kidnapped? We didn't really know. And I absolutely love that this film time and time again kept me guessing and not sure what was going to happen next and not really sure what I was looking at. I think the twists that they throw at us, they left clues as like going back to it and the like Javi talking about the maid at the hotel where they were staying finding like a wine stain on the bed or something like that. I didn't even process that right at the time, but as we're starting to see, oh, there's an actress playing her mom to sell the bit, like, oh yeah, that's right. They mentioned that they were drinking cocktails. Oh, but they actually corrected that and said it was mocktails, not cocktails. But were they actually? But wait, there is wine on the bed, and that doesn't make sense if neither of them drink. So like things like that, where yeah, it's cleverly set up, and then they also present a few things where they don't give you all the details, but you don't feel cheated for that. But they don't give you everything, so that way you can kind of take it one of two ways. Like June's dad being dead, you just assume that because how they present it, and I mean she even says that, but like when they replay everything at the end, it also makes perfect sense for the fact that he was a felon and an abusive husband, presumably an abusive father too, and they were just getting away from him, getting new identities and stuff like that. So Heather as well was an interesting twist, like seeing her kind of go through there and your lens on her change, like, oh, she's now wrapped up in this. Wait, she was kind of strong-armed into it and things like that. So I thought the police as well were about as good as you'd probably get the police and like the FBI in Colombia to handle this sort of a situation, which, they eventually found the footage of them being kidnapped and stuff like that in Colombia. But, there's only so much you can do, especially if their hands are tied by what you can get legally. Obviously, June was willing to go through a lot more because it's her mom that was missing. But I think my favorite character, though, was Javi. I really liked his role in the movie. I like that he was hesitant to help her, but then ends up helping her, and he's very genuine and cares about her. But then, when she's hurting, she lashes out at him, and like later he's not really willing to kind of get back in touch with her, but then he does. And so I thought that was, yeah, that was a great character for the movie. I really liked him. But for this sort of a movie, it can really be make or break if there's like plot holes and stuff like that, and I didn't really see any as I was watching it. There may be some. I wasn't gonna dig too deep or think too hard. For the, like, as a whole, it worked for me. I think the only thing I noticed was, like, probably Kevin would have noticed when June logged into his Google account. Like, he probably would have gotten a, hey, logged in from a new device alert. But my explanation for that was he was in Colombia. He was just trying to get away. He probably didn't care enough at that point to stay involved, and it was probably just June's dad that was kind of running things at that point, and he probably wouldn't have necessarily gotten that alert. But that was like the only thing I could think of. Otherwise, for the most part, I bought the twists. I thought they laid the groundwork, gave us some bits and pieces, some clues, not enough to have me guessing every single twist, but enough to when they show you the twist, like, oh, I see, I could have seen that coming, but I didn't. And that's the best feeling you can get for these sort of films. So yeah, that's those are the main things that stood out to me about the film. Definitely one that's hard to talk to without going into spoilers, so that's why we did it this way for this review. But if you've had a chance to see it, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. I think this is a great suspense film. Again, I think it was very creative with the way it blended technology, and it wasn't just staring at a computer screen all movie long like I've seen in at least one other movie, but it kind of blends different cameras, and it's mainly looking through some sort of lens that isn't just, you know, what the camera would be in a regular movie. It's, you know, an Instagram post or things like that. So yeah, I thought they did a really good job with that, and it's one that I highly recommend. It's a letter grade of an A for me so far. It's my favorite of the year for what's released this year. So I say go out and see it if you haven't yet, and if you have, definitely share your thoughts in the comments below. But with that, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe. And thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.